They thought early on in the restoration that they were trying to figure out why some of the characters are deeper and some are shallow and what was going on with them. So the thinking was, let's just strip all the paint off of this floor and get down to the bare wood. But before they did that, they did this study. So this is basically a little archaeological study on the characters. But it also showed us the layers of paint on the walls, which didn't mean too much. Just that it was green, brown, and gray, and at different times. But in the translations of some of the poetry that was done, a lot of them they started to see references to green or jade. So as they went down, they realized that the walls of this entire building were colored green or jade. So some of the lines are, the walls are green, like the green grass that surrounds, or even if it's built of jade, it has turned into a cage. So jade in traditional Chinese culture has connotations of happiness, prosperity, good fortune, and here you are being treated like a prisoner, yet kept inside a building that's colored happy thoughts. So it made enough of an impact on them that they wrote about it in a lot of the poems. When they got down to the bare wood, and this was a very expensive process to do, so they didn't do the whole building. It was about $100 for every character to do this thing. So we know there's almost 200 poems in this building, so that would have been very expensive to do by character. But what they did is when they got down to the bare wood, they started to notice the gray material. And the gray material is actually wood putty. So when people started to carve on the walls early on, the government considered it graffiti and they had to get rid of it. They didn't want that to continue, even though it obviously did. And so you can't erase a carving, so they had to fill it in. So they filled in the wood putty, the characters with wood putty, smoothed it over, painted on top of it, and essentially erased it. In the 103 years since some of the wood putty has been put in here, the moisture content has evaporated. And as it evaporated, it shrank. And as it shrank, it pulled the different layers of paint into the characters. And that's why we can see it through all these different layers. So if I was to turn off these lights, you really couldn't see them, but we put these lights so that it casts a shadow on the different characters so you can see them. The other thing they found as they went down layer by layer is additional inscriptions in pencil and ink on the different layers. So like there's maybe 200 or so carved. We think there may be another 100 or 200 inscriptions that we can't see because it's all lead paint.